So we are going to make some fermented hot sauce today. I'm going to take you back through the whole process. So let's go do that and then we'll come back and finish this off. So I've been cultivating this Tabasco pepper plant all season. Lots of ripe peppers on there, lots of green ones still too, but I'm a little afraid we're going to hit a frost and I don't want to lose any of these. So we're going to do a hot sauce, a little different video for BuQeye BBQ, but hey, I do a lot of different things. So let's ferment some Tabasco hot sauce. So I'm going to grab a bucket and pick these good ripe ones. I'll still let the green ones go and we'll try to see if we can get some more, but at least I'll be sure and get the good ripe ones now so we can do a nice hot sauce, and we'll see how it does the rest of the season. So I'll grab these peppers and we'll start this process. So here is our picked Tabasco peppers. So I started pulling off just the red ones like I had said, but some of the branches just started pulling off with green ones on there. And you can certainly make hot sauce with green Tabascos, so I'm just going to blend them all and use them in one hot sauce, and this should make one good sized jar. So we're going to get started. So I've just got a sanitized jar. This is a half-gallon jar that I'm going to be dropping the peppers in after I cut the tops off. So we're just going to fill it up, and we'll put some other stuff in here too, but we'll come back to that. So again, we're just going to cut the tops off. These peppers are small enough that I'm not going to cut them up any more than that, and they're just going to go in the jar. Going to do the green ones and the red ones, and as long as there's no rot on them, you can use some of the ones that were on the vine for a little longer. That'll be fine. Flavor is probably a little more concentrated in them anyway. So I'm just going to get all these done. I won't make you suffer through that process. This is the part where it becomes a little tedious, but we'll get this jar filled up and we'll bring you back. By the way, we just rinsed these off with water. That's all, no washing. You want to make sure the good bacteria that occurs naturally on these is still there, so don't use any kind of vegetable detergent or anything like that. Just clean water. Look how pretty those orange ones are. Got a couple of them here. There aren't many that are that shade, but those are nice. The other thing we're going to add, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now, is some garlic. So I'm just going to cut the ends off of this. I just think it adds a nice flavor. Give it a little bit of a smash just to start releasing that allicin, and drop them in. One other thing I'm going to add here is a carrot. I'm going to get an organic carrot. Actually, I have to get them from the store. We didn't grow any carrots like we did the Tabascos, but carrot will give it a little bit of sweetness, add to the color a little bit. So I'm going to get one in here. So I'm going to keep cutting peppers. This is tedium for sure. See you in a few. So I have a lot of jalapeno peppers left on the vine as well. I grabbed a couple of the really pretty reddish ones that are definitely ripe. They are gorgeous, and I'm going to add those, A, to fill the jar because it's almost full, and B, add a little depth of flavor, little sweetness, take some of the heat off of the sauce in total. It should anyway. We'll see. Jalapenos are so unpredictable, but I'm just going to chunk these into large chunks and drop them in. Oh, those smell great. So fun fact, I hate bell peppers. Don't like them at all. I think they overtake the flavor of everything they're in. But I do love me some hot peppers and things made with hot peppers. So let's pan to the jar real quick. I might have to skip the carrot. I have a pretty full jar here, and you definitely need to leave room. So there we go. There's our jar of peppers. Gonna turn it into a nice hot sauce. Fermented, no less, which I think makes things like hot sauce and salsa so much better. Okay, so here we are with our jarred peppers, everything cleaned and sanitized. So we got to add our salt now. I ended up skipping the carrot because I ended up running out of room, and I don't have any that I want to use anyway. So we're gonna skip the carrot today, but we've got our garlic, we've got our peppers, both green and red Tabasco, and then a couple of red jalapenos, as you saw, jalapenos. I always get somebody that corrects me if I say jalapeno, because the keyboard warriors out there, you know. So I would encourage you to measure your salt. You wanna use some sort of sea salt. I use Celtic sea salt. Don't use iodized salt, plain table salt. You don't want to use that. I have learned that 2 tablespoons of this Celtic sea salt works great in a jar like this for me. But I would encourage you to weigh your water and your peppers, and then use 2 to 3% brine solution. So definitely use a scale. I'm good with the way I'm doing it here though. So this is that Celtic sea salt. It's very, very coarse ground, and I'm just going to dump it in the top. Again, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. There we go. And now I've got water. This is from our reverse osmosis filter, so I'm good with this. It works great for fermenting. I've done plenty of ferments. You definitely want to be careful using tap water. You need to avoid chlorine because it will kill your ferment and won't even let it start. So I'm just going to fill this. Should be enough water, but we'll see. And we want to go up over the peppers. I put those large chunks of jalapenos on the top in order to keep the smaller peppers from floating to the top. But I'm also gonna do just a little more. I'm also gonna use a weight. This has been sanitized along with the jar. We'll put that in the top and just sink it down. That's looking great. And then I've got a pickle pipe to let the gases escape, but if you put a lid on the jar, maybe do it loosely, check it now and again, unscrew it so you don't create a little bomb in your house. They have airlocks too. There's a number of different systems you can use. But there we go. Our garlic, our 2 types of peppers, and our 2 different stages of Tabasco peppers. And I'm just going to put this probably in the dining room is where I usually do it, on a shelf there. But I am going to cover it with this towel. I think reducing that sunlight hitting it from the window and stuff keeps the color better. And if you noticed, I have this on top of a plate. You're likely to expel some of the liquid inside as it starts to ferment and bubble, and you don't want to make a mess. So I just put it on a plate, wrap a towel around it, and this is probably going to go at least 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks, could be even longer. I mean, you can go months with this, but we're just going to check it. So this video is going to be a little while in the making, so we'll bring you back and show you the next steps. Hey, we're back the day after we got that first ferment going with our Tabasco peppers, and I've decided to add to this whole video, and we're gonna ferment a different way with some different peppers. So let's get that going too. So this is gonna be a jalapeno ferment. We cleared off the rest of our jalapeno plants yesterday, so we've got mostly green, few multicolored, a couple multicolored, and a red one or two. So we're going to do a sauce with these. It's going to be different too. So the first thing I'm going to do is, these have been rinsed off with just water, by the way, other than that, straight from the garden. We're just going to cut them into chunks. Doesn't really matter how big. and just put them in the bowl here. So we'll get these done and we'll come back and show you the next thing we're going to do, and I think you'll find it interesting based on the other ferments I have done on the channel. So we'll see in a little bit. Okay, so we got our peppers chopped up, and next we're just going to do some garlic. So I'm going to cut the ends off of these garlics. This is no special amount, I just like garlic in hot sauce. So I grabbed a good handful of cloves. So we're going to get these chopped up, or the ends chopped up. That one's kind of gross, so I'm not going to use it. And then just smash it like that. And then throw it in this bowl. And then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so next we're going to weigh out our peppers and garlic. We're going to go in grams, already on grams on the scale, okay. Gonna put another clean bowl here and we'll zero that. And now we will just, and I grabbed a glove for this, put our peppers and garlic in this bowl and weigh it out in grams. We're going to go for a 2.5% salt is what we're going to end up adding to these. Okay, so that's 1,019 grams. So 10% of that would be 101.9 grams. That means 5%. So let's call that 102 grams. So that means 5% would be 51 grams. So 2.5% would be 25.5 grams. There you go. 25.5 grams of salt we're going to need. So I'm going to grab another bowl and some, I think I'm going to use some Redmond salt today. Use anything but iodized salt. And we will bring you back. Okay, so I just went ahead and got a dish here. We're going to zero the scale again. And just to make it easy, we're going to go for 26 grams. And I'm using this Redmond real salt. I really like it. I got a couple of options to use. There's 22, 24, 26. 26 grams. So what we're going for again is 2.5%. Anywhere from 2 to 3% is fine. I'm just settling on 2.5. This is actually going to be just slightly more. In fact, it edged up to 27 grams. Totally fine. Not worried about that at all. So let me tell you the next thing we're doing here. We're going to put this in a food saver bag that I have double sealed on one end. Matter of fact, I don't know if this is in the camera or not, but let's just get this done. Perfect. And now we're going to put our salt in. So before I seal this up, I am just going to mix that around a little bit. There we go. So I'll rearrange the camera. I'm going to get stuff cleaned up here and we'll get this sealed up ready for fermenting. Okay, so we've got our peppers and our salt, and we are just going to put this in the food saver here. It's not really a food saver, but same principle, the vacuum sealer. And I've got a chamber vac these days, which I've been using a lot of, so I haven't actually used this one in a while. Get it clamped down there, and we'll do auto vac seal for dry. Okay, there we go. And just for good measure, this puts a double seal on it already, which I love about that feature with this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do one more seal only. Okay, so now we have this double sealed on both ends. So as that lactobacillus bacteria starts doing its thing and starts off-gassing the CO2, this is going to start to expand. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. It'll take a little while, but you certainly don't want to create a jalapeno bomb in your house. So we might unseal it and reseal it at some point. It just kind of depends on how long I decide to let this go. But this will go at least 2 weeks. I might let this go a month or two. We'll just see. So this is a long video in the making. So we'll see you in a couple weeks or so.